Today we got a mailbag segment, and the first question is a big one from Aaron's.007 on Instagram. Should we trade Kyle Lowry? That's right. This is a very interesting question, and honestly I think three possible things can happen in the next year and a bit with Kyle Lowry and the Toronto Raptors. Number one, Lowry requests to trade this season because Toronto's underperforming, and specifically is asking to get traded to a contender. This is a tough one because Lowry's making $30 million a year, and that's a very challenging level of a contract to try and trade to another team, especially when you look at the contenders. Let's list off a few. The Brooklyn Nets, they have no cap space. Another team would be the Milwaukee Bucks. They don't really have the right pieces to be able to make an acquisition like that. The Lakers, maybe I would have to look at the books, but $30 million is a lot of money to make up, and not a lot of teams have any cap space. Number two, Toronto re-signs Kyle Lowry on a team-friendly deal as he transitions to the end of his career. This is sort of like the golden ticket contract to end his career. 35 years old, you sign him maybe for 2 or 3 years as he tails off to the end of his career. And, it's kind of just more like his twilight years where he can be a mentor to Fred VanVleet as he gives him the keys to the point guard position in Toronto. And number three is he straight up walks in free agency. And Toronto fans have experienced a lot of this the last couple of years. First and foremost, Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green walked in free agency. And then this offseason, Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka walked in free agency. So we've seen this before, and it is not fun. Imagine Lowry walking out of your life. That would be honestly one of the worst moments for the Raptors. And if he does, though, it's his own choice, right? You can't really be that mad because he's given you everything he could. But at the same time, as a Raptors fan, you'd want to salvage him, try and bring him back, and, not leave on bad terms like what happened with Serge Ibaka. And I don't think there's any way in which Toronto will blindside Lowry with a trade that he doesn't expect. First of all, they owe him more than that. And honestly, I think that any trade they want to make, they're going to run it through him. They're like, hey, Lowry, do you want to leave? Like, what do you want? And they're going to ask him those kind of questions and see how he responds. In terms of what I think Toronto should do, I don't think you get enough for a 34-year-old Kyle Lowry on the last year of his contract to warrant trading him. Right? If you're going to trade him, you want to get a big-time asset back. You want to get a star young player back. And I don't think you'd get that for Kyle Lowry. The market isn't really there. Especially with all these super teams now in the NBA, as we saw the Nets build one. The Lakers are low-key a super team, so there's a need potentially to add a third star to some teams. Like if you look at some of the mediocre teams, maybe like the Clippers in the Western Conference, or if you look at the Utah Jazz, or maybe even the Bucks want to fortify their roster. But I just don't think that there's any real assets out there that are going to come back for Kyle Lowry as a result. So I don't think Toronto should trade him. I'd rather see Lowry stay on a team-friendly deal and honestly just retire with Toronto. He'd still bring value to the team because he'd be training and teaching VanVleet, Flynn, Terrence Davis, whoever else comes in to take over the guard position in the next coming years, and would kind of teach them how to run a potent offense at the point guard position. And Lowry's the GOAT, the greatest Raptor of all time. I want to see him retire as a Raptor. He deserves to retire as a Raptor, but it's all about what plays out in the cards. And for Kyle Lowry, we don't really know what he wants. He's shown mixed signals this season. It's the kind of thing you got to let it play out. But in my mind, keep Lowry here. You're not going to get enough that warrants trading him. Stay in Toronto and retire with our squad.